Tetrishpere here on the N64. Let's try the hide and seek variation. There we go. No rules. Basic difficulty. Game over, you lose. Let's go hide and seek and go after that record. Nobody cares about the story. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to start out real easy, and then it's going to get difficult. I love the look of this game. Very underrated, actually. Oh, I hate 3D Tetris. It's too weird. Screw you. This game, it's unique. I'll give it that. Give it a chance. But don't go after my high score. Go play the new Tetris if you like that one so much. think this file is going to be pretty big, so I'm going to have to upload it to YouTube. So if you're on YouTube and you're watching this, sorry, it's a long video and those are kind of boring, but hey, this is for a world record. I'll be crying my way to the history books, baby. Guinness Book of World Records. You can get my autograph over at Con Bravo, baby. I'll be heading down there this summer. Right. It's all... Okay, I don't have the record yet. I think the record is 240,000. I'm getting close. So, dude who had the record before, sorry. Yeah, if it's any consolation to the guy who had the previous record, I watched your score and accepted it. Yeah, that also means that I saw your tactics. Sorry. But I had that happen to me before too. And besides, I used to play this game as a kid. So I kind of know the game pretty well. I should have submitted a score earlier, but I actually had to rebuy a Nintendo 64. Yeah, so the dude who sold me a Nintendo 64 over at a trade convention, yeah, the CGCC, thank you. Again, I don't use emulators, I don't use cheat codes. This is all legit, baby. too much time. Alright, I think I broke the record. Let's see if we can smash it though. Gotta stop fooling around. Okay. You guys see okay? This is a weird stage. That brick I can't move, so I have to work around it. Let's see if we can get combos, baby. Easy. Love this techno music. Dance party. Okay, tower. Again, we got work around the piece.
missile. Woohoo! I'm gonna hit you with my missile, baby.
Very cool effect. Yeah, I just love the history behind this game. I heard it was originally supposed to be Atari Jaguar game, yeah. And Nintendo said, you know, this game is too good. We'll make it for Nintendo 64. Yeah, and they put the Tetris license on it, and yeah, it became something special. I remember that's when I got my Nintendo 64 back in '97. Yeah, I didn't get it back in '96 because I wasn't really that impressed with it at first. It needed more games and stuff. I remember renting this game at first and, you know, not liking it because it's not like Tetris, but I gave it a chance. Yeah. Once I learned how to play it, I ended up loving it. And now I'm gonna see if I can get it in the world record books. Yeah. Another cool thing about this game is that it's Canadian. Yep, the company that made it, H2O, they're a Canadian company. And I'm Canadian. That's why my voice sounds so funny. Eh? So get your poutine and drink a Canadian beer and sit down and relax while I play some Tetrishpere. Just hope I don't get any interruptions. Not from you guys or anything out there. Well, yeah. If you're watching this, you're already... Well, I already finished a video. I completed the file and everything. I'm just talking about if anybody knocks on my door, if anybody calls me in for work or something like that. Play some games here. Just want to goof off. But have some fun. Put my skills to test. Yeah, they don't call me the Canadian Billy Mitchell for nothing. See if we can break 1 million. Mine. 1 million. Oh yeah, very nice. pieces. Okay, there's not much left. Let's do this. And that's it. Come on, give me points for that. Ah. Okay. I didn't seek. Yeah, this is the main game where you try to rescue your friends. So yeah, basically this is just like the rescue mode. No big deal. He is very easy. And so is Drill. Yeah, so shout out to Kevin Council Dragon out there. He's a Nintendo 64 collector, so yeah, dude, this is gonna be my first N64 world record on Twin Galaxies, if I do manage to get it. Yeah, I got the record right now. I just need to get it approved. So that's gonna be cool. See if I can submit to more high schoolers. Make myself the undisputed Tetrishpere World Champion. Okay, and you can also watch some of my Nintendo recent submissions if you're bored. Yeah, I think I just recently submitted ones like Tom and Jerry, the Incredible Crash Test Dummies. Oh man, what else? Oh yeah, Zen the Intergalactic Ninja, and Puss in Boots. Surprisingly, there are actually no world records on those ones, so those are inaugural scores. Yeah, those are exactly, those are games that nobody has, nobody cares about the record, so I'm gonna submit them first, and at least get them on the board. I don't know, just for something to do. Zen Intergalactic Ninja is actually not bad of a game. Or not too bad of a game. Not a bad of a game? I don't know. I'm tired. Uh-oh. Okay. Very smart enough there. Be very careful here. Yeah. Small pieces. What's this? Unique. Yeah, I think this is like drill. Oh, Jesus. Oh my, what? Holy crap, 49 minutes? I'm sorry about this. Holy. This is like a movie. Yeah, I'm sorry. This isn't going to be like the Avengers or anything. I'm trying to invent a real record that I watched, but it's not really revenge. It's just like competing. So, you're still a part of history, but you're just watching something that's not a movie. And kind of boring and very repetitive. But, I don't know. Take it for what it is. Besides, I heard that New Adventures was kind of stupid. Screw you, you stupid phone. It can answer upstairs. It's getting a lot faster. Didn't goof around as much. That little bell thing means that I have to hurry up or it's going to crush me. run out of pieces. That's how you complete that level. Shh, don't tell anybody. I think I'm gonna have only referees watching at this point. So I think my secrets are safe. I think this video's only got to top about 50 hits, and that's it. Holy, that was quick. They're gonna see that timer and they're gonna say, no way am I watching this video. World record or not. Yeah. Irate Gamer's gonna have like 10,000 hits for doing a stupid old video game review, but oh. Right, you know, he's gonna get a world record, being in the Guinness book of world records and all that stuff. Be the best in the world, gonna top about 50 hits. Yeah, does anybody actually know who the Irate Gamer is? Just a horrible game reviewer. Yeah, thankfully he's not going to watch this. So I can mouth off about how bad he is. Basically, he's just a ripoff of James Nintendo Nerd Rolf. Or Video Game Nerd. Yeah, and I go to several different conventions to sell the fact that I have a video game booth called Video Games 101, and to get some new merchandise and meet a whole bunch of stuff, you know, celebrities and all that, like the Game Chasers, JonTron, Angry Joe, you know, people like that. I never see the Irate Gamer at conventions. Alright, I think that's the level. Does anybody out there actually watch the Irate Gamer? This is what I've been reduced to, talking about the Irate Gamer. But I need to have something to talk about. It's weird, some of my biggest videos are videos where I rant on this guy. else. Doesn't give me much points, but it's still nice to look at. Nearly at 3 million here, people. Climb, baby, climb. Yeah, so hopefully you guys have the day off too. I still have a 9-to-5 job where I gotta work at Bourne Casino. I also run my own video game booth at the 400 Market in Innisfil, Ontario. Come and visit me. So yeah, I have a job where I'm related to video games at least. Yeah, I see this stupid video online of a father destroying his son's Xbox 360. Yeah, Ron Moore, he, I don't know, shared this video on Facebook. And it's the stupidest thing. His dad probably bought him this 360, you know, his grades were getting low and all that, but, you know, don't destroy your video game system. Video games can be very helpful in a child's development. Like, look at what's doing for me here. I have my own career in video games now. I'm getting world records in video games. And I have a collection worth over $10,000. think if that kid saved his Xbox 360 and a lot of his classic games, just imagine how much it'll be in the future if a particular game goes up in value. Like the Call of Duties, those games are going to be worth nothing in the future, but certain other Xbox 360 games, like, I don't know, some RPGs or stuff like that, that could be big money. What I like about the 362, it also has a port of Citizens the arcade game on it. Oh yeah, and that's another thing in the news. Konami, they're slower screwing up as of late. It's not easy being a video game company, but still, Konami, you gotta get your act together. You cancel the game Silent Hills or Silent Hills BT or BLT or whatever it was, and now you're doing like mobile gaming. This is very crappy news to me because Konami, I love that company growing up as a kid. Castlevania, you know, Atsley, you know, Rocket Knight Adventures. So many great games Konami made throughout the years, and it's sad to see them go under like this. Yeah, they're going the way of Capcom. I don't know, just a lot of these classic video game companies are feeling the pinch of, you know, some bad sales, some, you know, crappy business deals and stuff like that. And yeah, a lot of their, you know, creative talent is actually leaving and making their own Kickstarters and making their own games. There's going to be a new Castlevania, but it's going to be called Bloodstain or something like that. And come to think of it, the company H2O, this Canadian company, I don't think is no longer in business either. Which is a shame, you know. This is a great underrated game, and it just didn't get the attention it deserved. There was no sequel, no Tetrishpere 2. It was just one and done, and the company that made this game also made the new Tetris, I think some crappy RPG called the Iron Chronicles. And that's pretty much it. Once the N64 died, you know, they were pretty much done for too. You know, I love the video game industry and all that, but man, I would hate to be a video game developer. Boom, you make this game and you're in a sense fired because there's nothing else you can do. It's not like it's a permanent job. And it's mostly the higher ups that get the money. Like the creative talent, I don't think they get paid too much. Here am I going on a tangent, but hey, I gotta have something to talk about. Okay, nice, I broke 4 million. We're in this for the long haul, people. Don't worry, I got something to eat here, so it's not too bad. Connect. Right, is this like Connect 4? No, it's not. So many pieces, it's driving me insane. I go insane. I hate going insane. Okay, what else can I talk about? Alright, sorry Holly for, Saturday night. I completely forgot. Yeah. Yeah, Holly's my girlfriend. And don't worry, girl, you don't have to watch this. I just hope this isn't going to be like Bomberman on the TurboGrafx 16 and it ends up being a 4-hour video. And that's going to suck. Smashy. Oh yeah, that would be nice going. Go boom! Yeah, I don't really need the bombs right now, but later in the game, I might. Here, it's a nice, very calm difficulty, and I can rack up a lot of easy points. Well, I got the timer nice and slow. That's if you know how to play. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna have too many people competing with me on this record. Ah, crap. I goofed that out. think I shot myself in the foot. Yeah, I got no more pieces left. I think this is it. Alright, and that's my high score. I thank you for watching. And that was long. Alright, 4 million. I'll take it. Okay, and this is Ryan Chanot, over and out.